guys. I was gonna talk about a bunch of shit. I was gonna talk about how Donald Trump met with Netanyahu. I was gonna talk about like Nicki Minaj and Erica Kirk being completely just unhinged and unrelatable. My sister crashing out because Nicki Minaj is her favorite rap artist, and then she's like, "Wait a second, she said that Donald Trump is hot." I was gonna talk about all of this stuff, but I need to talk about Clavicular and Michael Knowles because what the hell is going on? This guy Clavicular, I've never heard of him until 2 days ago, and now I'm just like scrolling through Twitter, finding gold mine after gold mine for all of the shit that he did in this interview with Michael Knowles. He's like reposting AI generated shitty art posts of him running over a guy in his Cybertruck. It's like, oh my god, this is the purest distillation of like the right-wing memery that ended up getting Trump elected, that now have no direction once they realize that Trump is a bumbling buffoon who's losing his mind due to dementia. So okay, so Clavicular is a guy who really values his appearance, is what I'm gathering. And he streams, and he ran over a guy. Dude, this is such a ridiculous part of the internet. He ran over a guy in a Cybertruck, of course. Here we go. From December 20th. Clavicular shows off his looks maxing progress since the beginning of 2025. This Okay, so he literally looks the exact same. He's just like clenching his jaw here, and he has different lighting, and his skin is clearer. Like this is stupid. Clavicular gets What the fuck is going on? What is this? What is this culture? Okay, we just need to like start watching some of these clips. Asmongold. All right, we're done. Once we watch the Asmongold thing, we're done. Okay, so he runs over a guy in his car. He says that he hopes the guy dies. I mean, honestly, Clavicular should go to fucking prison because this is a attempted manslaughter, or what, attempted second degree murder or something. Okay. Here, let's let Asmongold give us his take on the situation.
That's a bit too far. I don't think so. I think somebody jumps on your car, and like this kid had a habit of harassing him. I'll tell y'all the world that I want to live in, okay? I want to live in a world where if you harass and stalk somebody, they can run you over with their Cybertruck and kill you.
Asmongold just wants murder to be legal. Like, harassing someone and stalking someone does not justify murdering someone.
That's the world that I want to live in. That's my perfect reality. That's my version of...
So, like, by Asmongold's own logic, then all of the people that he is constantly talking about and harassing should be able to murder him, right? Then Hassan would be able to murder Asmongold. Then like all of the, who does he talk about? He talks about Frogan. All of the people that he like makes videos about and says that they got wrecked and stuff. Remember when Hassan was streaming in Ireland and a guy walked up to him and is like, "Free Kaya." That's a guy who was literally stalking Hassan in order to harass him, and Asmongold was cheering that on.
America. Okay.
And imagine if Hassan pulled out a gun or drove over that guy and killed the guy that's like, you know, was stalking him and harassing him. Asmongold would be throwing a fit. This is like, Asmongold doesn't have any actual basis. His one basis is the people I like should be able to use violence to enforce their power over people that I dislike. That's what his ideology is. He doesn't have a real coherent ideology. It's just power might makes right, and the people that I want to be in power should have the power to kill other people.
Okay, so yeah, I don't care about the law. I don't care about like, oh well, you're not supposed to do that.
Well, like, you're saying you don't care about the law. You're arguing to change the law in order to fit the world that you see. But once again, like, this law would make no sense because according to that law, then Hassan would be able to kill someone that like harassed him, right? This is an incoherent ideology. It is the reason why fascism is not a self-sustaining like practice of government, you cannot have actual stable laws where might makes right and the person who's on the in group is able to use violence to enforce their power over the people on the out group. It's impossible to legislate, and so it's going to be an ever-tightening circle of authority, an ever-tightening and circle of people that are on the in group, which is going to always get smaller and smaller as traitors are weeded out, as purity tests become more and more stringent, and it's an ideology that eats itself alive. That's why fascist governments are ever going to be able to be stable. And they always rely on expanding the target of hatred that they're trying to focus on.
I don't care about whatever your religious book says. I'm talking about what I think. And that's what I think. I think you should be able to run their ass over. Oh, voice. I know, my voice is fucked up today, isn't it? It's real bad. And it's self-defense, exactly. But he drove.
Not self-defense. Like, you're in the truck that all of these dumbasses who sucked Elon Musk's balls are saying is like the indestructible truck, right? And you're afraid of like some meth head jumping on the roof of your car
while being coked out of his mind. You support that? Well, if he had run somebody else over, I wouldn't support it, but I do support it because he ran somebody over who I think he should have run over. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, well, that's not self-defense then, right? All right. What the fuck is this? Clavicular gets e-pressed by hostile extremists on Wait, so does this guy just go on these like hamming sites and talk to people?
Else, do you know what I'm talking about when you said that?
Yep.
Okay. And it really made me think. I think that you had a really good point, but I do think that you are kind of to the extreme. But I really thought about what you said.
Okay, Jesus Christ. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about this. All right, the Michael Knowles interview. Before we get into the Michael Knowles interview, we need to go over a few more establishing clips. Clavicular and Sneeko talk about how Indians have low IQ because of arranged marriages and the class system. Oh my God.
The average IQ in India is 82, right? So, and the reason for that is
funny. The stupidest people alive look to IQ as a measure of intelligence. Like, no one cares. No one gives a fuck about IQ. It doesn't dictate any kind of success. In fact, it's more of a reflection of your already success in life. Like, the more education you get and the more you value education and learning, and the more like your parents and the people around you value that, then your IQ improves. Like, it's so stupid that in 2025, almost 2026, people are still using IQ as a way to be racist against other people. Oh, I'm not racist. Their IQ is just simply lower than white people's IQs, right? And then they'll be like, well, I'm not racist because Asian people have even higher IQs than white people. I'm a race realist. I don't discriminate. I'm not a white supremacist because I acknowledge that white people have lower IQs than Asian people. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, all of this is debunked pseudoscience that has only ever been used to enforce racism.
Because of the arranged marriages and the class system. It's because of the
They have a lower IQs because of arranged marriages in the class system? Like, what's his argument? Is he going to explain this? Because to me, it'd be like, oh, well, if you have an arranged marriage, you have more time to study, so your IQ could be higher, right?
Is because of the arranged marriages and the class system. This is not me being racist, but when you don't allow the best genes to prevail and you try to intermingle with...
Oh... So now he's saying that because you don't have the kind of pickup artist-esque evolutionary dating pool, which all of these guys obsess over, because we know that women find IQ, because you don't have natural selection towards high IQ, then lower IQs happen. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? What... None of these pickup artist guys that subscribe to this weird theory of like the alpha bros get all of the women, or like 80% of the women are attracted to the top 10% of men. None of them talk about intelligence. They talk about like salary, appearance, the way that you like take care of yourself, your fashion. none of it's about actual intelligence. In fact, like personality and the ability to talk to someone is really not rated at all on any of these pickup artist lists.
You know, sexual destiny, essentially. That's what you
Sexual destiny. Also, you can, just because your parents are supposedly arranging the marriage for you doesn't mean that the selectors for higher intelligence don't exist. It's just your family finding the right person for their child to mate with rather than the children themselves. Oh my god, like if you're still talking about this like sexual selection marketplace, then arranged marriages 100% fall within that. Your families are going to be even more selective in the person that they find for you rather than yourself. Like, you'd have a team helping you find someone rather than just like you going blindly into this marketplace of available single people. You have like a team doing a market research for you.
sexual destiny, essentially. That's what you get. You get poor genes, their insulin.
Like this, dude. What? God. So, in his mind, do like countries that don't have arranged marriages, I don't know, let's say the bottom 50% lower IQ, they don't reproduce? People with low IQ still reproduce in other parts of the world where there's not arranged marriages. Why is he acting like in countries without arranged marriage, the only people that are reproducing and replacing the population are ones with higher IQ?
Sensitivity is typically bad. Very high rate of diabetes. Not very tall. So it's like, I'm sorry, but the caste system has to end, and the arranged marriages have to end, and the good genes have to prevail for any country to do well. The average IQ in India is
Goddamn, Sneeko really adding a lot of worth to that rant. All right, are we on to the Michael Knowles interview? So this whole interview with Michael Knowles is 2 hours long. I was not expecting it to be 2 hours long. However, we will watch the introduction to it, and then we'll get to some clips. What is the warning? Dude, what is this font? This video contains discussion involving illegal drugs, substance abuse, and steroid testosterone misuse, along with the related mental health and body image risks. Dude, what a fucking pussy ass woke scolding warning that you're putting on the top of this video. It's like, I'm gonna give you a content warning before we start this, just so that we avoid any triggers. Come on, dude. I thought you were supposed to be like a free speech warrior. What's with this fucking trigger warning bullshit? The material is presented for educational and documentary context only and does not endorse, condone, or promote illegal drug use, steroid misuse, or any harmful behavior. Yeah, but when Michael Knowles argues for eugenics, they don't put a trigger warning in front of that. And it does not provide instruction, sourcing, or how-to guidance for obtaining, using, or concealing drugs or controlled substances.
Looks maxing is the furthest extent that you could take self-improvement. This principle follows Wolff's law that a bone is going to grow back stronger.
You would hit yourself in the head with a hammer.
Yeah, bone smashing is legit.
But there are different ways you can improve yourself.
Right, but what's going to actually get you further in life?
What is looking better?
Dude, what is that response? There are different ways you can improve yourself, but what's going to get you further in life?
4.
Showering consistently and eating healthy, or smashing your jawbones with a hammer?
I'm someone who just wants to mog, essentially. I'm getting a double jaw surgery in a couple weeks from now, so that's probably the furthest it goes.
You do meth.
Maybe I traded like some neurotoxicity for temporary leanness to ascend really quickly.
This guy's so fucked up. This guy is fucked up beyond belief. I mean, dude, this guy's doing meth to control his appetite? He's doing meth to suppress his appetite, and he's smashing his face with a hammer so his jaw grows broader? And he's still getting a jaw surgery?
Backgrounds. Priests, exorcists, scientists, refugees. Never before, though, have I sat down with a looks-maxed meth head live stream cell. And I have that distinct privilege today with my new friend, Clavicular.
How's it going?
Mr. Icular, it's wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
There is so much I want to get into with you.
Okay.
Even all those parts of your title. But I want to start with the most obvious, the most apparent to most people, which is that you're a good-looking guy. I don't think that makes me gay to say you're a good-looking guy.
Oh my God, dude. Dude, I don't know if Michael Knowles is in the closet, but Jesus Christ, is he unsure of his sexuality? Like, you have this guy who's gay as fuck. He only looks at like male bodies and tries to make his jaw buffed up as much as possible so that other men find him attractive, right? That's what he lives for. It's not for women, it's for other men to find him attractive. Literally the first fucking thing Michael says to him is like, I think you're attractive. That doesn't make me gay though, right? Holy shit, what are we watching right now? It's two men grappling with their own sexuality, just like reasserting the fact that they're straight over and over. Is that what this entire thing is? 2.5 hours of Michael Knowles and Clavicular talking about how not gay they are?
You have intentionally become a good-looking guy. You have looks maxed.
Right.
What is looks maxing?
Looks
You just defined it. Becoming good looking.
maxing is the furthest extent that you could take self-improvement, right? So we've seen a lot of, different forms of that over the years, mostly with bodybuilding. I would say was
Dude, bodybuilding is not self-improvement. Jesus Christ. Also, just looking good is not a good definition of self-improvement. Like, you can say that it's a subcategory of self-improvement, but looking good to the point where you're satisfied with your body, that's what self-improvement is. This guy is not satisfied with his body because he wants fucking jaw surgery. So he is definitionally not improving himself.
the main one for a while for men, from about 2010 up until 2020. And then it sort of shifted into looks maxing. That kind of crept into the space from different niche, forums, especially those of PSL, which was just three.
Pumpkin spice latte, obviously.
No, just 3 looks maxing forums. So that influence kind of crept in, and it's very obvious that the face is more important than the physique. So people were doing the self-improvement, and it wasn't really getting them the results that they needed. So that's why the further step needed to be taken to sort of go about
The further step of what? What was the further step?
improving upon your entire life.
Wait, so the further step of looks maxing is improving upon your entire life? Okay. So he's just defining looks maxing as improving your entire life. Got it. And that's why he does meth, right? That's right. Well, it's your entire life. It's not just looks, right? That's why I'm doing meth in order to suppress my food cravings.
So there are all these bodybuilding forums, and you say, well, what about this phrase, the butterface? But you hear about the butt. You never hear
Right.
about butter body.
Uh-huh.
So you draw the conclusion from that hey, you guys are all working out.
You hear that a lot. You hear that a lot about oh, she has a cute face, but her body isn't it, right? Yeah, it's not a specific phrase because body is usually a prerequisite to beauty, and the reason that butterface became a keyword term is because it's oh, this is an exception to the rule. She has a body, which usually people find that's the definition of beautiful, but then it's oh, but I don't find her face attractive, right? It's usually used to describe women, unfortunately. It's the society we live in today.
Not to build up your bodies, but the face is more important to physical attractiveness.
Absolutely.
So that's what distinguishes just working out and hitting the gym and bodybuilding from looks maxing.
It's just adding an extra layer, right? I'm someone who hugely advocates for still going to the gym, even though I might have been taking a little bit of time off recently.
I've taken about a decade or so off.
Yeah, so no worries. We're on the same page there. But I'm just adding that extra layer, that extra piece of key nuance that I feel like has been out of the equation for.
The extra piece of key nuance is to make your face look good. No one's thought of that yet. No one's thought, oh, maybe I should get a good hairstyle. Maybe I should groom myself more. Maybe I should use skincare or a shower, right? No one's thought of making their face look good before Clavicular arrived on the scene and is guys, I think we could kick it up another level. Bam! We should make our face look great too.
the longest time, especially in a lot of like the manosphere discussion. Looks hasn't really been, mentioned, and it just seems kind of silly to me.
In the manosphere discussion, looks haven't been mentioned. Bro, this guy's brain dead. This guy's actually brain dead. Hold on, I need to look this up. Why Sanji kicked this guy's face? This is clavicular. He kicks this guy's face, and then he looks like this. This is clavicular with his hammer.
Handsome? Well, obviously. But it's me, Duval.
Wait, didn't his face look different?
I rearranged his bone structure. Now the creep's got nothing to gripe and moan about.
Okay, anyway. Back to Michael Knowles.
Can I ask how old you are?
19.
You're 19.
Correct.
So,
Bro, this guy's so fucked up. This guy's so fucked up. He's doing meth, he's 19.
Looks hasn't really been,
He's dumb as a rock, dude. Did he hit his brain with that hammer or just his jaw? Dude, how many micro concussions did he give
I'm
himself?
not talking about when did you get into this?
when I was 14 years old, I was someone who was on these bodybuilding forums. I started taking exogenous hormones, testosterone, when I was 14. And then it became more of a shift from bodybuilding oriented stuff, like we talked about before. Say this happened to a lot of people, into more looks maxing stuff over the years.
You're 14, you're going through puberty.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. All right, let's get to some of these clips that went viral. I totally respect that Clavicular is authentically crazy. It's rare for someone to not be a total grifter these days. Too bad he's gonna have a heart attack before 50 from all the gear. He says that he would vote for Gavin Newsom 100 times over JD Vance and predicts a Newsom win.
Election cycle, who's going to win? It's going to be Gavin Newsom against JD
Dude, look at the fucking memes they used.
Vance, because JD Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom mugs.
JD Vance is subhuman?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's got a very
I actually kind of feel bad for this guy. Like, he's probably gonna go to prison. Michael Knowles is trotting him out literally to just laugh at him with his conservative audience. Like, sure, maybe there are some people that are fans of Clavicular that are also conservatives, but that's not the type of people that are gonna watch the Daily Wire, that watch Michael Knowles. Like, they're gonna look at this guy and think that he's a fucking joke. Like, Michael Knowles is laughing at him. I don't know, man. This guy's fucked up beyond repair.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's got a very short total facial width to height ratio. He's obese, very recessed side profile, whereas Newsom is like 6'3" Chad.
So you're JD.
Unironically saying that Newsom is a Chad to one of the most popular political commentators on the internet right now, and he's fucking unironically just being like, Newsom is Chad. He is a Chad. He is Chad.
He's very tall. JD's got to be
Well, still,
6'2",
I mean,
6'3".
Gavin Newsom obviously mogs him to death.
So you're a Newsom head. You prefer Newsom to the vice president.
I'm just telling you who's going to win.
Do you prefer him though?
Honestly, it's hard to say, but Newsom being that much more of a mogger, and like having a president who's like fat and especially that young.
You think he's? I don't think
Having a president that's fat.
he's fat.
I would say
He's a bigger guy for sure.
He's just like, it's just embarrassing. Like, how are you fat and you expect to like lead a country? You can't even be in shape, you know?
So let's say you got a vote. It's 2028.
I'm voting
now
for Gavin Newsom.
You're
Just
voting
like
for Gavin Newsom.
You can't be that subhuman.
So you, hold on.
You can't be that subhuman. Goddamn, bro.
You got. All right. Well, this actually is of a thread with the whole conversation, because you look at these two candidates. You have Gavin Newsom, worst governor in the country. I think we would all agree, destroyed his state, let its main city burn to the ground because of his incompetence, is a personal, complete derelict, liar, degenerate. But he is good looking. I'll grant you that he's good looking.
Yep.
And kind of looks like Patrick Bateman, American Psycho.
Hey.
And then you have this vice president to President Trump, the transformative right-wing president in our lifetimes, who, do you support Trump or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got this vice president handpicked by Trump, who is extremely intelligent, very right.
Extremely intelligent? What makes you say that? Like, he admitted live on air that he was making up stories in order to get people talking about the Haitians in Ohio.
Right wing. I think he's a pretty good looking guy. I don't know. Maybe you, I guess you disagree. But he's all these things, checks all these boxes, would have all these
JD Vance is not a good looking guy. Jesus Christ, Michael.
great policies. And
Revoking your gay card for you saying
regardless, you're going to pick the pro mass migrant, pro
that. I love how lost the Republican Party is right now. They can't even give you any policies that the Democrats are in favor of that are bad. So they're like, he's pro mass migration. And what? He's pro trans? Is that what he is?
trans, pro murder the babies,
Pro abortion? So immigration, not murdering trans people, and abortion. The most popular issue of all time, pretty much. Abortion. The issue that crosses the aisle, crosses political spectrums, because it affects all women equally. Yeah, that's what he's going to pin on the Democrats.
pro burn the cities to the ground,
Bro, burn the cities to the ground, bro. This is ridiculous. You can't even list a single fucking thing that the Democrats are in favor of that are bad.
pro BLM,
BLM? Bro, it's not fucking 2020 anymore. You're talking about BLM still? He's pro the police not murdering people. Oh my god.
Democrat, because he's skinnier than these to the ground, pro BLM Democrat, because he's skinnier than the conservative vice president.
100 times.
Dude, you couldn't list a single thing that the Democrats are in favor of that's actually bad. Okay, so we watched this. Clavicular. He doesn't care about trans people.
I just don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to just advocate for your average person to only concern themselves with their own.
To me, that's the big cope. I agree with many of the observations you're making about the society, but the big cope. You heard this with like the libs when they were trying to push the trans stuff, and they were upset that some of us were pushing against it. And they said, "How does this affect you?" You know, you're walking out. It's basically your society is Sodom and Gomorrah, and they say, "Well, how does it affect you if I decide I want to like castrate little kids in the school and redefine marriage and slaughter babies and sacrifice them to Moloch? And how does that affect you? You just mind your own business." And I think, how about I don't mind my own business? How about my business is my community? And
oh, notice how he's not answering the question. How he's like, I hate it when people give me a reasonable question for my objections to what they do with their own life choices. And he's like, I hate it when they say that because I don't have a good answer for it. I'm just going to say that I am defining it as my business because due to some arbitrary definition of community that Michael Knowles made up on the spot.
I have a right to enforce standards and norms that are good and traditional. And
I have a right to enforce. Dude, holy shit. Republicans are dumb as fuck. This guy says that I have a right to enforce standards and norms that are good and traditional. That's his response to how does it affect you if I like take hormone replacement therapy or fucking grow my hair out and like wear a dress? How does it affect you, Michael Knowles? And he's like, I have a right to enforce standard and good and traditional things in my community. What a fucking crybaby. Holy shit. These people piss me the fuck off.
Conducive to flourishing. And how about you mind?
It's conducive to flourishing. You know what's conducive to flourishing? Letting people do what they want to do, as long as it's not hurting anyone or infringing upon them in any way. My God.
Traditional and conducive to flourishing. And how about you mind your own business?
But the problem is, you see what you just did?
How about you mind your own business? He ends it with how about, he literally never answered the question of how people being trans affects him. He went on this whole tirade about how he doesn't have to mind his own business. And then he ended the tirade with, how about you mind your own business? We have dumb and fucking dumber. Like, as stupid as Clavicular is, at least he's consistent. Michael Knowles is just a grifter. Like, he's not even a real Christian or a Catholic or whatever the fuck. Like, he's just a piece of shit fucking grifter that lies openly and brazenly and with a smug smirk on his face because he knows he's lying and he gets off on lying to his dumbass audience.
There's you spiked your cortisol thinking about transgenders.
Will that max anything?
You spiked your cortisol thinking about transgenders. To be honest, Michael Knowles did get pretty worked up talking about transgenders.
Thing on me.
No, that's a very catabolic hormone. So if you're advocating for people to, go around and, concern themselves with these issues or go to, like school like board conferences and like, be outspoken about this, that's just largely going to be unproductive.
I
And
love how Clavicular's response is we should have political apathy because advocating for something will ruin your anabolic hormonal levels. You're going to put yourself in a catabolic state if you get yourself worked up over political issues. That's his fucking response. You should just be political apathetic. Not even, oh, well, you said, why don't you mind your own business? But you never actually answered the question of how trans people affect you, right? Not even that. Not even I'm in favor of people, like not even just saying the looks maxing line, right? I'm in favor of people doing to their bodies what they want to do in order to have the appearance that they desire, which is his whole fucking shtick. His whole shtick is I'm going to surgically enhance myself to get the body that I desire. He doesn't even say that to Michael Knowles. He's just like, well, you shouldn't get worked up over politics because it can really diminish your gains.
And it might seem like a doomer mentality, or like, you're just going to let society go to it's like on an individual level, it's not going to be productive.
But on a political, right.
Oh my God. Just say your whole thing. You literally started this by saying you were going to get jaw surgery to get the body that you wish you had. Why can't you just say, I'm getting jaw surgery to get the body that I want. I'm not going to judge other people if they get surgery to get the body they want. It's just like, yeah, they're a scourge on society. They're going to have society go to shit. But you shouldn't get yourself worked up over it because that's going to diminish your gym gains.
Well, look, it's been productive in as much as at least the trans thing. There's so many other problems.
Well, the way
at
that
least
I
the trans things, though, we've kind of won on that.
Well, the way that I see trannies is like that's one more person to mug once they brutally butcher themselves transitioning,
But is it?
Bro, the irony of him talking about trans people butchering themselves due to transitioning while he's literally on record hitting himself in the fucking face with a hammer, getting jaw surgery, and going on meth to control his appetite cravings. Holy shit.
I see that.
Like, go descend yourself. Like, that's fine with me.
Because you're ascending yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to ascend, and this person is going to be a comical botch job, you know? So, like, that just seems like very logical to me. Like, yeah, go be a tranny. Like, now I mog you to death.
What does that... Dude, I might be too old for this. I have too many gray hairs. Now I mog you to death. Is mogging just, like, looking better than someone? Is it... I always assumed mogging is like if you're face to face and you look cooler or you look more handsome or whatever, that's called mogging, right? But I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Like, this is... I'm gonna mog trans people?
Now, isn't... Yeah.
God. What else do we got? He writes Sydney Sweeney. Ran over a guy. Why is this mogging? Chat, is this mogging? Can't zoom in on this because Twitter fucking sucks. He's mogging a guy. So if I ran over Clavicular, that would be me mogging him, right? He's mogging a guy by running him over. Dude, what the fuck is going on? All right, last one. He's talking about Sydney Sweeney. We gotta end it after this. Holy shit.
What are we talking about by hot? Like good looking? Like some people think that like Sydney Sweeney is extremely attractive.
Some people think Sydney Sweeney's extremely attractive. I mean, she built her career off of that, right?
I would say, I don't want to scandalize anybody, I'm a married man. I would say Sydney Sweeney is very attractive.
I would say that she's pretty malformed. Her upper maxilla is extremely recessed, right? She's got the eyes of doom with no infraorbital support.
The Eyes of Doom? Bro, did this guy like look at a superhero, like a superhero character creation manual, and he's like, all right, we're gonna take the upper maxilla and recess it. We're gonna take the Eyes of Doom and put that on Sydney Sweeney. Can't forget about the giant tits though. We can't forget about that. Dude, you're not beating the secretly gay allegations, Clavicular.
She's really not that much of a looker in her face. I think that a lot of people with brains find her attractive.
But I guess he is like pretty much asexual, right? He's not, doesn't have any testosterone, or he's on TRT, right?
With brains find her attractive.
What is this with what brains?
Not much of a looker in her face. I think that a lot of people with brains find her attractive because of her
Hey, I
body.
don't have porn brain. I don't know.
Porn brain?
Well, you're telling me that
Well, I don't
that if
know.
a guy finds Sydney Sweeney attractive, he's got to have porn brain?
I think that she's above average in looks, but certainly not that, like, you
No,
know.
you said she's got a sunken
I mean, she is kind of basic. He's not wrong about that.
suborbital.
Like, she doesn't look bad. She just kind of looks normal.
I forget the words that you said.
Yeah, she's got a recessed infraorbitals
He said he said she's got the eyes of doom.
and a recessed upper maxilla.
But once again, the guys, like, let me just say this: Sydney Sweeney is not famous for her face. Okay, so why are we even talking about this?
You're telling me you go to a bar.
I'm just saying she's not the pinnacle of looks that I'm talking about to actually succeed on social media.
It's funny because this guy's like actually talking about what supermodels are, right? Like high fashion models, how they're all super skinny and they've got really unique looks. I think that's what he's talking about.
She's average to above average.
That's fucking hilarious. All right, so that's Clavicular. Good shit. This is what the country's come to. A brazen grifter talking to a
What are we talking?
person with mental issues, talking to a mentally ill teenager who's on fucking meth, who does self-harm in order to satisfy his body dysmorphia. Like 15 years ago, there would have been movies about this and talking about how big of an issue it is and that this is like a scourge on society we need to address. But now it's celebrated and taken as serious political commentary. Holy fuck. Holy fuck.